Um, Adam is who I witnessed sell more than I think I ever witnessed someone sell. And it wasn't because he was running ads or he didn't really find anything to scale other than himself and his brand and his reach. And right now, he is working and consulting with people on building their own and building their own personal brand and kind of creating those inbound leads that come from really having authority. He has a mastermind called Builders or company, I guess, is it's the whole company's name, right? Builders of Authority. And it's all about creating authority and establishing yourself as the go-to guy. So this is going to be really good for the owners, but also it's going to be good for the owners of the roofing companies to impart some of the little tricks to their salespeople, because that's going to be a strong place to look. Adam, I don't know if you want to wait for a second or get started, but it's up to you. I think we'll probably
Yeah,
have a few more people jump in.
we
I'm gonna
can we
spotlight
can
you.
just we can get started, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming obviously this is recorded and goes
Yep.
somewhere and people can go back. So I always like to leave some time for conversation and questions if we have it. So
Perfect. Well, you're
yeah.
spotlighted, my friend.
Well, I appreciate the spotlight. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me here, Brad and Beth. Super excited to be here. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully get this thing to work and present. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And if you have questions throughout, especially like in small group settings like this, I love to just have people ask questions like in the moment. And Beth, if I know Brad's gonna be leaving, but if anybody asks a question, just like feel free to like stop me at a pause. But Alex and Josh, are you guys both in roofing companies? I know what Jose does, but are you guys both in roofing companies?
Yes.
We are.
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
So this presentation, of course, Brad always plans ahead. This presentation, Brad actually like had me put together. Well, not had me put together the presentation today, but he asked me if I wanted to do this a couple of hours ago. So I'd actually just given this presentation both to a $7 million roofing company as well as a $30 million roofing company. That I was actually training their sales reps as well as the owner of their company to implement this exact same strategy. So I work with them one-on-one, teaching exactly what I'm going to teach here today. But the real reason behind why they brought me in is in the $7 million market. It's a super, super small market. They pretty much can generate any lead that they want from digital marketing. And the same thing goes for the $30 million roofing company. They have 2,000 plus 5-star Google reviews, and they spend like a stupid amount of money on digital marketing. So they are trying to spend more money in those avenues, but they can't. So they're not only themselves as the owner, but also the sales reps are now adopting what we're going to be talking about here today. So I'm going to teach you all some free and easy ways to grow your business ASAP. Like you will be able to take things from this, either scale upon what you're already doing, or if you're not doing one of these things, go do it right now. You can start getting some more business, at least getting more leads, right? Which is what a lot of people want. So, I don't know why this isn't working. Go back. Okay, perfect. So, well, no, I went too far. Okay, a little bit of information about me. I am here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm married to my wife, Delaney. We have a 6-month-old, about to be 7-month-old son, Murphy, our dog, Georgie. I like to tell people I'm a recovering digital marketing agency owner. So I was in the agency space for about 6 years, 4 years full time, and 2 years part time. Before I ever sold like a website to anybody, and I mainly worked with contractors, I built 200 websites out on my own from 2018 to 2020 while I was doing this part time. I built the website, did the SEO, did all that stuff, and then I flipped a lot of those websites and just basically sold them as digital real estate. So think of like somebody that does fix and flip with actual real estates. That's what I did with websites, and or I just sold the leads. So it's called rank and rent digital marketing. And then for the last 4 years, I've been in different aspects of agencies, selling, $4.5 to $5 million over the course of the last couple of years in digital marketing, new business. I've also started some companies from those initial websites. So I currently still own an auto glass repair company that was not a company before we did all the digital marketing, fancy stuff, and a landscape design business. So I've understood things from both sides, which is why I was able to scale our agency pretty quickly. Not just because of what I'm going to be teaching you about here, but I kind of knew everything from both ends. Before that, I spent some time in medical device sales and did that for about 5 years. I always like to touch on my core values that we have both in the business and in our personal life as I give these presentations to kind of help you understand a little bit more about me in a very short period of time. My core values are in the acronym of TRUST. We picked these back at the end of 2021. So coming up on probably 2.5, going on 3 years. Really, we're the reason because of with marketing and advertising, consulting, whatever it is that you want to call it. A lot of people have trust issues, right? They pay people money and they've been screwed over. So that was the foundation of why we chose the acronym of TRUST. But with TRUST, we have take action, we have results matter, utilizing resources, setting proper expectations, and transforming lives. So I like to start these presentations now with the 80-20 rule. And so whether we have just the 5 of us or 6 of us total on this call, or for anybody that ends up watching this on a replay, let's take 100 people. Let's say 100 people watch this replay. There is going to be 20% of you watching this in its entirety that actually do something with this. And you are going to drive the 80% of the results, the top line results from this. 80% are going to watch this. They might get excited. They might think I'm stupid. They might have every emotion in between there, and then they're not going to do anything with it, right? So I've been giving this presentation and different variations of it over the course of the last couple of years, and that's what we see. That's not just in this presentation. That's in business. But I just want you to think about that at the foundation of this entirety is as you go and implement or begin to implement, ideally right after this or tomorrow or whenever you watch this, just don't be that 80% that drives the bottom 20% of the results. Be the 20% that drives the top 80%. So what is Builders of Authority? Brad kind of mentioned about it earlier. We are a company called BOA as well that helps individuals leverage social media and personal branding on the organic side so that they can stick out from the crowd and be the go-to person for their services. And as a bonus in the process, personal branding or organic social media content, meaning you are posting from your personal Facebook page, personal Instagram page, etc., will reduce your overall marketing and advertising costs while also allowing you to get more of your ideal clients. So everybody sees that and they're like, sign me up just for understanding what personal branding is, because ideally we're trying to reduce the amount we're spending with marketing and advertising, which is why you're a part of a program like Brad. Brad's going to maximize your advertising dollars, maximize your processes and systems, so that way you can go get more of your ideal clients and grow your business without just flushing your money down the drain. That's the goal. So quick agenda of what we'll go over, just a personal branding overview. I'm going to walk you through an ideal client profile exercise. We're going to talk about the consistency of posting, planning your content, the types of content, adding people on social media, tracking and KPIs, supporting others. And then throughout, you will see different action plans that I will tell you, hey, if you want to get started with this and become the best in your industry, in your area at this, this is what you need to do. So a lot of people ask, Adam, what is a personal brand? A personal brand is simply what other people think about you when you aren't in the room. People a lot of times say that about the business brand too. A lot of people ask, Adam, do I have a personal brand? Should I start a personal brand? Everybody has one, whether you know it or not. Again, it's what other people think about you. That could be good, bad, indifferent, everywhere in the middle when you aren't in the room. What's the goal of personal branding? And so this is really good if you have sales reps, if you're watching this, like part of me working with these roofing companies and contractors and teaching their sales teams is their sales teams, for the most part, and even some of the owners, have been what you would refer to as like a lead baby, right? They've been so blessed. They've had all these leads over the last couple of years. Well, Google ads continues to increase. Facebook ads is getting harder and more expensive and all these things. So people have been, as long as you've been answering the phone really from like 2020, especially towards the end when money started getting thrown into 2022, last year was a little bit of a tough year, you were growing. So part of me is like having to come in here and train the sales reps on why they need to do this, right? As well as the owner. But with this, it's get more leads, make more money, impact more lives, help more people, and build your brand so that way more people know who you are outside of just the business. Personal branding is the ability to use your own influence in social media to grow your business via your individual brand. Adam, separate from Builders of Authority, always has been, always will be. Those are two completely different brands, both benefiting from everything that Adam McChesney does. Obviously, we want to know what personal branding isn't because there's a lot of speculation. This is not going to be a direct replacement for marketing or advertising when it comes to leveraging your business's social media or other digital marketing strategies or any type of guerrilla marketing, print marketing, anything like that. It is to be meant to be done in tandem as a recipe for success. If you look at some of the largest roofing companies that are out there, right? When they really started to like truly take off, or you look at any of the large contracting companies, like everybody knows Tommy Mello. Well, Tommy Mello, his personal brand helped grow his business brand. And as he's continued to grow and grow and grow, the businesses continue to grow and grow and grow with it. More opportunities obviously come into play from that. A strong personal brand plus business marketing and advertising is the overall recipe and key for success. So any questions on overview of personal branding before I kind of go into this next piece? Good. All right. I'll take that as a yes. So before we start to go do a bunch of personal branding, before we start to go do a bunch of business advertising, branding, all that stuff, it's important that we know who our ideal client is before we go and start marketing to people. Because if you're marketing to everybody, you're really marketing to no one. And when you market to everybody, you're going to get more of your worst, most headache, pain in the ass clients, and we don't want that. So I walk people through this ideal client profile exercise. So depending upon the size of the business, depending upon if you're a sales rep or an actual business owner, you might have 3 clients, 5 clients. It doesn't really matter. But we all have in our mind who the ideal client is. When I say ideal client, your mind goes somewhere, right? It might not be 100% dialed in and focused, but your mind goes somewhere. Our goal with this is to get it to where you can close your eyes and you know the exact location of the house, you know exactly what the house looks like before and after, you know who the decision maker was, you know that to a T. So what I recommend people doing is take the best 10 clients that you've ever had, for whatever reason that might be, and write down all the different things that you might consider. What was the zip code? What was the type of roof or project? Where did the lead come from? Was it a referral? Was it from Google? Was it from Facebook community group? Whatever that might be. What was the estimated value of the home? What was the age of the roof? Who was the decision maker? And what was most important to them in the buying process? Hopefully it wasn't price. Hopefully it was like, wow, they answered a lot of times when I'm going through this with people right now, it's, hey, they answered the phone and everybody else didn't, or they helped me through the insurance process, or I went with them because my whole neighborhood was doing it. Those are some of the things that I'm hearing, right? So then you start to write down and compare and contrast of all those different things and compile the similarities. And you're like, this is who our ideal client is. And now that you have that crafted, you're able to perfectly understand to a much better degree of who you are trying to go after. And I always recommend people repeat this activity on a quarterly basis because hopefully, for example, like let's just say the types of projects that you're doing or the dollar amount of the home continues to increase, like you're just continuing to level up in business, or maybe you're not, but that's why I recommend doing it quarterly, but also when issues arise. So you're getting a bunch of callbacks, you're just having the most pain in the ass clients. Like that's a good time to go back to this exercise. And what I always recommend people doing is at the very beginning of this is take a look at that best ideal client profile and take a look at your last 10 projects that you've completed start to finish. And hopefully there's not a big discrepancy, but a lot of times when I'm going through this exercise, there is. It's like, oh crap, we're driving 40 minutes away to go do this project. This project is only X amount of square footage, right? There's X amount of squares. The home value is not what we're trying to go after. And the reason why they decided to go with us was because of price. You start to realize during, especially coming out of winter, right, in certain areas of the country, or you start to realize that when times are tough, you start to take anybody and everybody as a client, and it starts to cause a ripple down effect of issues inside of your business. So you might not think that a certain one project or sets of projects, because you're collecting money, could have a long-term effect on your business. It 100% can. So once we have this, we can now start to implement what I'm going to teach you, which is the secret sauce to be able to do it. But if you don't have this down, you can struggle mightily. Any questions on this before I continue? Does this make sense? Is this helpful?
Very helpful.
Awesome. All right. So talking about the consistency of posting, right? Consistency of posting is going to be very dependent upon what you're doing right now. If I try to take you from not posting at all to posting as much as I post, or I recommend posting at scale, you're going to be like, the heck with this, I'm not doing it. And that's like you not running a mile ever and me telling you, hey, let's go run a marathon tomorrow. You're going to get frustrated. You might do it for a little bit and then you're going to tap out. So the easy way to get started is to take the baseline of where you're at right now and start to do a little bit more or do better quality of it. But let's just say you're not posting at all, or you want to get good at the quality side of this, because we're building the habit and the routine. I recommend doing 3 posts, and this is from your personal Facebook page. Getting started with Facebook, but doing 3 posts a week and 3 stories a week. I'll walk you through exactly what I would recommend from a posting standpoint on some ideas that can ideally start to get the juices flowing. But stories could literally be you're out on a job site, or you have a team meeting, or you're meeting with an adjuster, or you have a customer testimonial, or you got a Google 5-star review. You can put that on your story, super simple and easily, and it'll go a long way. In the beginning, again, as you're trying to get the activity, 2 out of the 3 posts or stories I would recommend being business focused. Because again, we're trying to build the habit and the routine to start getting you more leads in business. I recommend at scale, as you start doing more, incorporating more of the personal life, the hobbies, all of the other things that you might do outside of business that will help people connect with you, because people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And I hate to break it to you, but in any business, people aren't usually just waiting on and being like, man, I really hope Josh posts about a roof today because I need to see that roof out there. No, but it's the consistency of them seeing that time and time again. And then you build on the strategy that we're going to continue to talk about. So what does great look like? Again, I want to set the standard for the beginning, and I want to talk about if 90 days from now, if you build this habit and the routine and you want to grow your business, if you want to be that top 20%, this is where you can get to. Doing 2 posts a day, 1 reel per day. So again, reel could be a compilation of projects. Reel could be a customer testimonial video. Reel could also be a recruiting tool. Like a lot of people always say, man, I cannot find good people. I'm here to tell you, I've never paid a recruit, and again, different industry, but I've never paid a recruiting company. I've never paid any sort of ads to run ads for recruiting stuff. A lot of times I've had people come to me and want to work for me, or I've gone out and sent out some feelers, and then they've taken a look at my social media and like, that looks like a guy I'd want to go work with, right? 1 story per day, 1 live per week. So a live per week could be a couple of different things. So I want to spark some ideas for you. A live could be you finish this awesome project and the sales rep is there, the project manager, whatever, whoever's there, right? Doing this live video at the end of the project, and then you get a customer testimonial. Another live could be if you're really, really focused and you get hyper focused in this little pocket in your community, whether you're in a small town or a big town, doesn't really matter. Big city doesn't really matter. But you're going to like the local coffee shop, you're going to the insurance agent. There's a ribbon cutting ceremony for a new business downtown, and you're literally going live at that location, at that event, tag that business and the person that's running that business. So that way you guys share each other's social media following because they're tagged in it too. That's a way to have simple and easy content, and you're providing so much value to somebody else promoting their business, and your business will actually get more promotion in return. There's a variety of different ways you can go live, but doing that once a week I've found is very, very effective. It could also be, hey, I want to educate you all on the different types of roofs. Again, not super sexy or what people are looking for, but like you could go through that. If a storm happens in your area, if you're in a storm area, hey, we're out doing inspections in this neighborhood, X, Y, and Z, all of those things. I also recommend adding 5 new friends each and every single day. That could be your past clients. Hopefully you're already friends with them, but like, if not, I would recommend going there. That could also be people that are sending you business or could send you business. So if you're like, man, if I could just get that individual on my Facebook page and we start to build a relationship and they start sending me business, it's great to get one new ideal client. It's even better when you can get 5 to 10 new leads a month from one ideal client referral partner. And then I also recommend joining like local community Facebook groups. So like the buy, sell, trade Facebook groups, the I know a guy, I know a gal, the what who's who of what town. Every city has all their own stuff. I recommend joining all of those. And then if you struggle planning content, right? So this is the next thing, especially with the sales reps. Well, like we implemented this thing for the $30 million roofing company that we're working with. And I thought it was this genius plan because I'm like, okay, we're going to have them submit all the stuff. Well, there was sales reps that were like, hey, 3 posts a week. They're submitting like 1 post on Friday night, or not Friday night, but like Thursday night at midnight. And then they're submitting a post at like 6 a.m. when nobody, like, they were just literally checking the box to checking the box. And they were complaining they didn't have time to actually make the post throughout the day. Well, if you plan the content and you're like, hey, I'm going to like write out this post, or I'm going to have this theme, or I'm going to make this video or take this picture, and I'm going to do all of this every single Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, Monday afternoon, whatever, then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week other than getting to the platform and posting. And you can knock out most of everything. So if you're struggling to create content, right, and you're struggling to find ways to make things different, well, here is like based on the day of the week, just some ideas that you could literally do. Now, again, doesn't need to be every single day, especially in the beginning. Doesn't need to be overcomplicated. But Monday, for example, could be like a maintenance Monday. So preventative maintenance tips for roofs. You could literally write a post about it, make a video. Transformation Tuesday, before and after photos of a roof, before you did it, after you did it. Why Us Wednesday, what makes your roofing company different, right? There's a lot of different things that you can write about from that regard, from what customers are already telling you, so you don't have to go throughout the process. Thankful Thursday, thank someone who sent you a referral or highlight a local business. And 5-Star Friday, highlight a recent 5-star review. So literally you should be able to have 5 posts right there based off this stuff that doesn't overcomplicate the process and helps grow your business in the process. Now you might be asking, Adam, I'm already posting from my business roofing page, or somebody on my team is doing that. Why would I post on my personal page? Right? And the reason is those algorithms are completely different. The algorithms in and of itself are on two completely different ends of the spectrum. The business page, unless you have something that goes completely viral, it's going to take you 12 to 18 months of consistency in posting. Really, really good content, super consistent, incredible following to get the same lead generation and traction that you can get in the next 90 days by doing this from your personal page. The reason being is because it takes so much longer is because Facebook isn't going to show your business post to as many people without you spending money behind it. They make money from a business page when a business page hits the boost button, runs targeted paid ads, does all of that stuff. And they make money by charging companies to do that, but show it to people that are consistently on Facebook. So they're going to give you more of an opportunity. And then if you do it consistently from your personal page, than you will from your business page. So types of content on the personal side, again, I would weave some of this stuff in with the long-term plan is how do I do more of this type of stuff? Things that you're passionate about, your purpose, family, hobbies, and then personality, whether that's self-development, fitness, motivation, funny, those are good things to be able to add. And then tips for content, right? So tips. Don't overcomplicate this. Keep it simple, stupid. Storytell. There's a way to make a story about a roof not sound so stinking boring, right? If you think about it from the aspect of you can show a picture of a finished roof and be like, hey, we just finished this project. Or you can be like, hey, here's a before and after of this roof. They called us after they signed a contract with another roofing company, and that other roofing company took money from them, left them hanging. We had to come in and save the day. That happens, obviously not incredibly often, hopefully, but it happens out there in the space. Whatever the story is behind the project, that needs to go to the forefront of your content. What most people do is they show the finished project, so nobody saw the before, and then it's like, hey, we did another roof. Okay, great. You and everybody else that's out there. But why did that customer choose you? Did that customer choose you because they got a referral, because you answered the phone, because you were out and about and sponsoring the local community event? Like, what was the reason behind the activity of why they reached out and did business with you? That's what you want to tell with all this stuff. Storytell. One of the things one of my clients does an incredible job of is every single time they bring on a new employee, which they're hiring a ton, and they have a year anniversary with every single employee, they talk about, hey, here's our new employee. Here's what they're doing. Here's where they came from. Here's what they like to do outside of work. Here's why they are excited about working here. And then when it comes to the year anniversary, 3-year anniversary, et cetera, it's like, here's what this person has accomplished in the last X, Y, and Z amount of time. That's what ultimately builds you a brand that's deeper and more effective than any ad that you can run, any type of lead that you can buy, and any type of brand that's built beyond the business, because it does go beyond the business when people are people. So you want to be authentic, and then ultimately you want to do what feels natural. And so for tracking and KPIs, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Like, we literally have set up simple, easy Excel sheets, but like tracking how many times you posted this week, tracking how many reels you did. The reason why you want to do this is because what doesn't get tracked can't be improved. So you don't know and understand, hey, if I posted 5 times or if I posted 10, if you're not tracking that, it's really tough to understand what's going on. Focus on tracking what's working and what's not, so you can do more of what is working and less of what's not. Pay attention to lead flow and feedback from social media to identify which posts or types of posts are moving the needle. And then supporting others. So a lot of people will run out of the gate. They'll take the plan that I just told you. They'll do everything but add new people, right? So depending upon your current profile and setup right now, most of the time, just going and producing more content doesn't work, because you need more people in your ecosystem that actually want to buy from you or that can actually refer you business. So you have to go do that, but you also want to support other people, especially past customers, especially if they have businesses too. But even if they're like, hey, I'm coaching my son's sports team, or this is my daughter's birthday, whatever, like, comment, share. All of the people above that you were adding, right? Consistently support them. Anyone in the community with influence, director of the Chamber of president, director of the Chamber of Commerce, somebody that's, I don't know, been running or been in office before in the local community, whatever it might be. Simple likes, comments, and shares on their stuff goes an incredibly long way, because they are so influential that if they start tagging you in all these different groups and communities, when somebody's looking for your services, that's what we're looking for. So I'll open up for questions here. I do have this free Facebook group if anybody's interested in joining. I do daily content in that group, as well as live weekly trainings on a variety of different stuff when it comes to social media, etc. So I'll open it up for questions now and see if there's anything else that I can help out with.
Thank you very much, Adam. I'll give everyone, I'm not host anymore. Sorry, I was gonna spotlight myself too. Uh this type of stuff, I mean, it's definitely like, it's sometimes outside of what we think about as roofing contractors, like building a brand. But as Adam mentioned, it's not just a matter of building authority and getting inbound leads. Like, that's a huge part of it. But also, like, as you grow, you want to recruit the right people, you want to build the right team. And relying on the wrong sources for that can be hard. If you start putting in the work now, then you can get the benefit of both, where you are building authority, getting known, building awareness. And at the very least, your network is going to become much more often reminded that you're the guy for the services and what you offer. Outside of that, as you're adding more people, as you're building that, your network and also just the general audience that you begin building is going to start seeing the demonstration of what we want to be, like success and good work that you guys can show. And that I know that no one on this call is the type that would just be like, look at me and my Rolex or anything like that. But what you can do is like show the volume of work that you're doing as it grows, like demonstrate it. And people can do the math, right? People can see, oh, they're doing a lot of roofs, they're working with a lot of people. And the more you can create that type of awareness, then one, the more authority you have with other people, because they're like, oh, well, a lot of people have made the decision to go with Adam's Roofing, so they must be doing something right. But then on top of that, sales team and operations managers and admin, like whatever role you're looking for, they also are seeing your company as a good place to work, because really most people, if not everyone, wants to be a part of a winning culture. And that's what we can demonstrate in an authentic way to ourselves. And like, we don't want to get weird, but I also like showing people the work that you're doing and then allowing them to see the volume increasing and how many new people you have to talk about and the reviews that you're getting. That stuff is such a huge way to build up an audience in a slightly different way. And guys, a post a day, like, it really doesn't take that much work. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance around it, think about why. Because it's not the time that you need to invest. And now it's not, what do I post? Because Adam just showed you a really easy example. So as you're doing that, like, just realize like this is an opportunity for some low-hanging fruit within your business. And Adam's a pretty humble guy, but like, his personal brand has generated him multiple speaking engagements, a great team that everyone else was jealous of. And I mean, the volume of transactions that happened at his agency when he was like at his peak was wild. Like for every one of my sales, Adam had 6 or 7. And I wasn't so bad. So for context, it's crazy like what this stuff can do when you get it right. And I've seen some of the most successful roofing contractors have their brand and recruit from their brand as well. What up, Jose?
I just wanted to say that the personal brand also helps you transition in any transition that you're making. So Adam, you went from, like you say, you're a recovering, how is it that you say it, a recovering digital marketer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the personal brand really helps transition from one thing to another also. It's yeah.
It definitely does. Like I tell people all the time, like if I had to go sell houses, I wouldn't sell a house this week, but I might have a house under contract next month because people just want to like support what I'm doing, right? And that was evident with like Builders of Authority and doing all that. Like we won't do what we were doing in our agency this year, but we might do a pretty decent amount more than I did in my first year running my agency. Of course, I have more experience now. It's not apples to apples, but I also have a larger group of people that are supporting me. But like if I had to go start a roofing company, again, I wouldn't crush it in the first year, but you give me 18 months, I would be able to figure out the lead generation and the marketing problem, and then go hire out everything else because I did it. That's essentially what we did with our landscape design. I mean, I don't know anything about landscaping. I don't know anything about auto glass, but we had the leads that were coming in and then we figured everything else out after the fact. Not an ideal scenario, but it would have never happened if it wasn't for personal branding, organic content, anything like that.
Can I say one more thing on that? When we heard Kevin Harrington speak, after what was his first business? It was As Seen on TV.
Yes.
Infomercials.
And As Seen on TV, I think went expired or he sold it. And I think it was Richard Branson that told him the biggest mistake you made was that you haven't built your personal brand. So everybody knows As Seen on TV, but nobody knows Kevin Harrington. And that's when he started building his personal brand around being on Shark Tank and so on and so forth. So your personal brand carries you through all the projects that you take on. So it is very powerful. And Adam has been a machine in building his personal brand.
Amen. Any questions? And I challenge you guys like to really think through what are you doing, if anything, to build your brand and make your network aware of exactly what you do and how to talk to you about it. And if you're not doing something, like why? Like, and I do challenge you guys. I know that some cameras are off, but if you can, like, why are you not? If you're not, if you are, what are you doing? And is it enough? Do you want to do more? Any questions, obviously, but like, let's try to have a little bit of a round table here. Can you unspotlight both me and Adam, just so we can have a group discussion?
Try.
Feel free to jump in. I'll start picking on people if no one jumps in first. So
Well, I'll say this. So I was, well, Adam, while you were speaking, I was like, well, let's just go see how much this guy posts. Turns out I'm already Facebook friends with you. No idea how that happened.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's obviously something going on that makes some sense. I'll say that the hesitation on my part is sort of like just like being on camera here is one thing. It's just like being in front of people. Like I can handle being around people, but like recording something and trying to be like out there personally is not personally like my personality. I don't think it would fit. if that makes sense. Or at least it's intimidating.
So I think the intimidation factor is always going to be there. Like, people ask me all the time, like, hey, I've spoke at over 50 events the last couple of years in person. Like, do you still get nervous? 100%. But like, it gets easier to combat those things. If you would have asked me a year ago when I would do something like I'm doing right now, I would have been sweating. Like that, we all have the same insecurities or the lack of self-confidence. It doesn't always go away. It gets easier to manage that. I would say there's really three options with all this stuff. Don't do it and stay the same. Don't do it and go backwards, which of course is like not a fun place to be in that, but to do it, if you do it and you take the action and you do it for the next 90 days, if you follow that game plan, like your business will absolutely grow, because most roofers or contractors in your area don't have a personal brand or the discipline to do it consistently. And I've been doing this now coming up on 4 years, and I've been in all the different mastermind groups, all these different roofers, and I see people that don't know roofing at all. They've never done a roof themselves. 5, 10. I got a buddy here in St. Louis going to do 25 and probably close to 30 million this year. Never been on a roof. But he posts every freaking day. He tells us all his personal stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And he gets some of the best freaking sales reps, because those sales reps see what he's doing and how he's investing in his people. And they're like, man, I want to go work for that guy. And when one of his reps takes home a big check, man, he puts a picture up with that rep holding the big freaking stupid check. And then he gets all the decent reps from the other company and things. Like, there's a whole game, around it. I would just say, like, you're not alone in what you're feeling. If you were not feeling that and hadn't ever done that, like, I came from medical device where I had to do presentations all the time. So I was already used to being in front of people. I had never really been in front of a camera. I even still felt that way. If you didn't feel that way, it would be weird. You're like, oh, wow, you're already super, super confident and you've never done it. You're in the majority here.
And it really, like, Adam's a great example of someone like who you meet Adam in person, like, and you talk to him in general, like overall, like Adam's a pretty reserved guy. Like Adam's a mysterious guy. Jose has been Adam's coach. I know Adam's like, and he's hard to read. Like over time, like I feel like I know him pretty well at this point, so I'm not affected by it. But the point is, like, Adam is not the guy, if you just met him, that you would think this guy is going to go make a career giving public speeches and leading large group calls and things like that. And I'm not saying that in like a negative way. He's also like a beast. Like he works his ass off and doesn't really get veered off by many things. But because of that work ethic and his ability to keep pushing, he's built. I mean, he gets asked to be on speaking. Like, I mean, I think it's like almost every month it seems like he's at a conference giving a speech. And he has his group. He has a webinar that he like has with the promotion. He gets a shitload of people on it. And the reason is because he's turned this into a formula. He's taken the emotion out of it and the fear and the nerves. It still exists, but he's just said, like, this is an input thing, and I need to trust that there's going to be an output. And because he's done that, he's generated great results. For me, I am more of a, like, you'd be like, oh, I could see this guy wanting to like talk to people, but I'm not as good as Adam is at posting consistently and posting the right stuff and being as consistent there. So while I might be more naturally extroverted than Adam still has a personal brand that beats mine. And I'm okay with saying that. And I'm learning from him, like actively. I'm in his group. I have meetings with him and I've watched what he does for a long time. And like this stuff, it's hard, but mostly because of what's in between our heads, not because like the actual actions are. And if you can just do it for, give yourself a month to 2 months, like screw 90 days, give yourself a little bit and try to figure out what can I measure that would give me confirmation to keep going. Now you do it for 90 days, which is what you should do. You'll start seeing like legitimately, like there will be clear increases in business and all of that. But if you pay attention over the course of a month of doing it, I bet you will find multiple wins that happened. It might not be massive volumes, but enough to just confirm, yeah, this is it. This is working. And look at it like business, not like, oh, well, I'm not naturally a public speaker. Not many people are. Like I am more of an extroverted person, but I'm not a natural public speaker. Like I don't know, I think that's rare.
I would say as well as I say 90 days because that's when I signed up my first client that was directly related to personal branding back when I started my agency and went full time with it back in 2020. But marketing and consulting and coaching and all of these other things, it's a lot harder to acquire a client because it's more of a want than a need, right? For a roof, if there's a need, they need somebody. You're just hoping that it's the right place at the right time. If you're looking to do it in a month, but if you do it in 90 days and 90 days turns into 6 months and 6 months turns into 5 years, there's going to be all the different people that know about you. And we didn't even talk about the strategy of as you're providing value and doing all these other things. One of the reasons why we grew so quickly is I was getting 3 to 5 leads a day in to my personal social media, Facebook, from other people being like, hey, Adam, you need to talk to so-and-so. He needs a website. He needs SEO. He needs paid ads, and other people tagging me. I know people that run contracting companies that don't have a website. I don't even know if they have a Google business profile. Terrible way to run a business, but they dominate. They might not even be insured or have, if you need, licensing in your area, whatever, but they crush these Facebook groups where all these people are tagging them over and over and over again. Nobody really knows them outside those Facebook groups. So it is just a sector of your overall marketing and advertising plan, but it's the one that has the highest return on investment because it's time, energy, and resources, not money, not anything really else that goes into it.
I'd agree. Josh, if I had to guess, you
I
are
hate
not
Facebook.
actively building a personal brand. Why?
What's that?
Why do you think that you're not like doing building a personal brand? Like, what's the reason for you?
I think I'm doing good on the business side. I mean, we were.
Oh yeah, of course. This
But
is not in
the
any way a
I do
criticism of the other things.
like the bane to my existence. I just hate it. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot. We'll see if we can get better at it. That's for sure. Obviously, Adam's doing something right. So
I think it's a
Yeah,
matter like what can you commit to and then do that. Don't overextend. I think one post a day is fair. But
right.
even if it's 3 posts a week, like Adam said to start, like give yourself a simple goal.
Well, I
In
think it
some
makes sense
cases,
saying. I mean, just people I know within just in my own world. If somebody out there needs a roof, they say, "Oh, tag Josh" or something. And just having that reoccurring. Kind of like the postcard things when we send out the postcards and stuff, having that always have that in the back of somebody's mind, like, oh yeah, I remember seeing Midwest, and oh wait, that's Josh. They do roofing and stuff. Just constant, being in front of people and stuff. I like the idea. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely give it a shot, start getting better at it.
Love it.
I
And
think,
you're,
and I
you're such a
use the-
good-looking guy too, Josh.
Yeah.
I use the word personal brand because most people look at it as more than just organic social media. But on
Right.
the most basic level, it's organic social media. And organic social media took the place of the newspaper. Let's be honest.
Right.
People used to go to the newspaper to figure out who was running ads when they needed their appliance repaired, their HVAC or their roof, whatever. This isn't just an easier way to get in front of people on a more consistent basis when you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it really is.
I would agree. I would agree. Anyone else? Anyone have questions? Brian, I would pick on you, but you're safe without the camera. I don't know whether you're even listening.
I'd like to add that, we can all find our voice in a comfortable way. And you don't have to do it like anybody else. Like, the more authentic you are, the more relaxed you get in front of the camera. You can be reserved, you can be conservative, you can be whatever it is. You just become more comfortable and you find your flow. You find your voice on social media. And finding your voice on social media is almost just like finding your voice in the real world. And the more authentic you become, and then you just go ahead, Josh. I don't know if that.
Well, I do. I just know I don't want to interrupt you. I was wait till you're done.
No, go ahead. That's about it. Just finding your voice, finding your comfort, don't do anything because you feel pressured, and just get comfortable with it, and then it just starts flowing. That's
Right.
it.
I just kind of thinking here, if I'm going to be out and if I'm out measuring a roof or whatever, meeting a customer or something or whatever, and I want to put like a quick video, is it recommended to not only to do it to my personal page, but should I also like tag my business page in it and do it on both ends? Or am I literally just saying, nope, I'm trying to build my own personal one, stick to that and just ride that out? Or is it good to do kind of both?
Yeah. So I would tag the business page. So
Okay.
if I'm going to write a post and, hey, it's this roof for this customer testimonial, I would do that. And as you're sharing the story, you can even do that. And even if you're doing a reel, you could do that. What I wouldn't do, which is what most people think when I go and say this, and I should have mentioned it, so thanks for bringing it up, is you don't want to post on your business page and then just share it to your personal page as your
Okay.
post. Because anytime it's shared, whether it's a really, really good, like if Brad posts something or shares something on his page and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, I go then and share it, it's always going to like hit the algorithm because it's not my own original content. So even if it's the same thing, like you're almost better off posting the exact same thing on your personal page, but making sure it goes from there as well as from your business page. But I would tag the business if it's a business related post. Maybe not every time,
Mm-hmm.
but a good majority of the time is totally fine.
Okay, cool.
So I've got another, I guess, similar type question. If you're posting to Instagram, you could have an option where it automatically goes to Facebook too.
Yep.
Is that good, bad, indifferent?
So it's really indifferent. So what I would say though is that your ideal client is usually never on Instagram. Most of the time, though, the most people that are spending time on there are like 21 to 28. Like that's their top 80%. Your ideal
Well, I'm about
client
to turn
is
46, so somehow I'm younger than I look, I guess.
Yeah. So like we're all spending time. I mean, there's people that are over there. They're usually just not in the buying mode over there because the algorithm is different and it's more like story and reel driven than it is post. So I would, if I were to do anything in your situation, I would post on Facebook and send it over to Instagram, which you can do. So it can go both ways. I would start at Facebook and send it over.
Thanks for picking on me, Brad. I'm gonna have a comment.
Yes.
I jumped on late, so I'm looking forward to watching the replay of this and seeing the beginning of your presentation, Adam. But it seems to me this is very similar to just an analogy. And in a former life, I was in restaurant operations management, multi-level for several different companies. So you're constantly coaching like hourly employees who came up on minimum wage or slightly above it. And the ability to lead is like, it's personal development, you know, it's what makes a manager successful in that world. And I would constantly be coaching young individuals, old individuals, and the thing that came up more often than not was conflict management. And the analogy is posting on social media is like having a confrontational conversation. Like it's like knocking on somebody's door, and no one wants to do it. But if you go knock on people's doors consistently, you're going to sell roofs. And if you have crucial conversations or conflict management conversations with people, you're going to have stronger relationships, stronger teams, because they're going to get to a better outcome. And things happen that are good. So I think you can kind of lump all those things together and put this in there with it. Just something you decide, are you going to do it or not? And if you're committed to it, it's having that end in mind, that I know that even though it sucks and I don't want to do it, I'm going to make myself do it because of the way that I feel when something good happens directly related to that habit. So just wanted to add that in there and just a couple thoughts.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Anything, Adam, to add on from that?
I mean, I would say the last thing is a lot of, it's cliche a little bit, but a lot of people say like choose your hard when it comes to all this stuff. The hard part right now is going and posting on social media. Another hard part is growing your business without doing what we're talking about right now. So people might dump money into any sort of paid ads or whatever activity to grow the business it might be. That's also hard because even when you grow, the profit margins aren't what they could be right here. And it's usually not as easy of a sale of the roof. And then the other hard is, again, staying where you're at right now, or even worse, going backwards. So we have a choice to make. Just depends on what choice we're going to make from the information that we have today. Again, that goes back to that 80-20 rule. There's 7 of us on here. Not good at math of what that would be, but 20% will take it and run with it and grow. 80% won't, or at least not to the degree of the 20%.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Anyone else? We're about at time, but does anyone have anything to add? Any questions before we wrap up?
I got to hop off.
Okay, well, there we go. Adam, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. As always, very valuable, insightful, and always good. See ya. See ya. Bye.